everyone, I'm Corine. I'm from Coatman, Vancouver. Today we're going to go through a Pilates style video. It's going to go through the fundamental movements, just what you need to get started for knowledge for pelvic floor activation and using your transverse abdominals. So if you haven't been active in a while and you're starting to get back into it, or you're planning on increasing your exercising level, maybe you're going to go start hiking or get into the more summer gardening, and you want areas of your body to be more supportive of for your spine, so you're not going to get too much of your low back pain and bad forward shoulder posture from being at the computer all day. These exercises are sort of like your fundamental movements that you want to learn how to engage so that it makes other tasks a lot easier for your body. So I'll go through a few instructions on how to first initiate your pelvic floor activation. They're quite tedious exercises, so take your time with it. Don't try and perfect it right away. It does take practice, and the more you do it throughout the day or throughout the week, the more it'll become easier to recruit those muscles, and the more stronger those muscles can get. So give yourself time and keep at it, and you'll do great. So if you're ready, we'll get into it. I've also got Tully, my dog, here, so she likes to kind of hang out while I'm exercising, so if you see her, don't be alarmed. So we're going to start with a bit of a spinal twist. So you can just get into like a seated position, and we'll practice lengthening the spine. So sitting up nice and tall, we can interlace the hands behind the head. So already in this position, it might be a bit kind of intense for your posture, which is nice, so it's a bit of a challenge. So you always want to keep the elbows in your peripheral vision, but you don't want to kind of fold in as you get tired or hunch down or kind of use your elbows to turn. We really want to just focus on the long spine and maintaining that length in our spine. So rest your head in your hands and just try and keep the ribs from flaring too much by slowly drawing them down and bringing the belly button in. Even if you can't feel too much in your lower abdominal area, that's okay. You just sort of want to try and engage that area as much as you can. So bringing that belly button in, sitting up tall, we're just going to exhale and rotate one direction. So depending on how tight you are, I'm quite tight, so I can't go very far. So only rotate as far as your spine will let you without losing that tallness in your spine, and without having to bend the elbows. And then you can inhale back to center, and then we'll exhale to the other side. Good, and then we'll inhale back to center, and then we'll exhale to the other side. Again, inhale back to center, and we'll go one more time on the side. Good job. Alright, so we'll go down into that pelvic floor activation exercise. Basically with this exercise, you're going to draw the lower abdominals in, and you're going to kind of bring all the defecation muscles up into your stomach. So it's that feeling if you're in mid-flow of pee and you wanted to stop the flow of your pee, using those muscles to hold it in and just keeping the lower abdominals drawn in. If you want to palpate that area, it's sort of walking your fingers 2 in from your hip bone and 2 down away from your belly button. And in that area there, you just kind of palpate it as you make that engagement. And you should sort of feel like a tightening tension away from your fingers or lumping. So just holding that activation for 10 seconds. And then relaxing everything down and away. And then again, you're going to engage those muscles, hold your pee, draw the navel in, 10-second hold, just breathing normally. So try and keep the upper body relaxed as well. And then relaxing everything down. Good job. So practicing about 10 in a row, just really getting those muscles active as much as you can, even if you can't feel much quite yet. As you keep practicing them and your brain communicates with them again, you should start feeling them underneath your finger a bit more. So it's quite tedious work, but it's really important to get those strong again and to also get them to stay on. So if you want to give that more of a challenge, you can practice engaging that muscle and then moving your limbs. So as that muscle stays on, try and bring your leg away from you and then bring it back, all while maintaining that contraction. And then you fully relax, the muscles, engage them again, and then you try and bring out the other leg. If at any point you can't feel the contraction or you're losing it, you can just maybe not go out as far, or just bring the leg back in and just keep practicing those muscle activations until you can hold it on long enough. And that should be a good way to start challenging the muscle. Another good way you also challenge the muscle is to just do some fallouts. So if you bring your belly button in, your leg's just going to fall out to one side, slow and controlled, and then using your lower abdominals to pull the leg back in. So it doesn't have to go out extremely far. You kind of want to keep it in a range that you can control it so that you can come all the way back in. So you can just practice up to 10 on each side. And that's a good way to first initiate that pelvic floor activation and get it strong again. So from there, we're going to move into some pelvic tilts just to kind of get the pelvis associating with your hips and your pelvic floor. So if you draw your belly button in again and use those pelvic floor muscles, you're going to tilt your spine into the mat. So your lower spine is pressed in. And then you're going to relax them back into your neutral spine. And again, drawing the navel in and then pressing your spine into the mat so that the hip bones are tilting towards you. It almost sort of causes you to squeeze your butt cheeks. And then you're going to relax everything back so that your neutral spine comes out. And we'll do a few more of those. You can do up to 10 if you wanted to. Just getting used to that pelvis tilting forward and back. So if you want, you can also try, when you go back to your neutral spine, to arch the other way. If that causes pain or discomfort in your low back, don't worry about it. It's not totally necessary. But it just kind of gets you moving the pelvis and disassociating it from your body. So if you imagine like cups of glasses on your hip bones, you'd pour the water towards you to press your spine in the mat. When you relax, it should go back to just a normal position. And then if you were arching your spine the other way, you'd kind of tip the glasses away from you, which is sometimes an uncomfortable position for people. So once you've done about 10 of those, you can stop back in the middle for a rest. If you're ready to move on and challenge those muscles a bit more, you can draw the lower abdominal in, engage those pelvic floor muscles with your arms by your side. You can activate the upper body by drawing the shoulders together on the mat, and even trying to push your hands into the mat so that it activates your triceps, and almost try and reach towards that wall down by your heels so that you can kind of activate the upper body. You want to keep your ribs drawn down towards your hips so that your spine stays neutral. You don't want too much arching of the ribs. So from here, if you kind of press the spine gently into the mat so the lower back is pressed into the mat, you can bring one leg up and tap it down, and then bring the other leg up and tap it down. You can just keep alternating, all while trying to maintain that contraction. If you'd like an extra challenge, you can bring your legs into tabletop, and if you're able to maintain the lower abdominals drawn in with the spine pressed into the mat, you can toe tap from here. So exhale each time you tap down. Really keep the hands active into the mat, and really keep that spine pressed into the mat as you lower the leg and bring it back. You can also take a break here and there just so you can reset everything, but you can just aim for 10 taps. That should be pretty intense on the core because you're bracing all the core muscles. And then you can come down for a rest. So another way we can challenge the core is just to get some rotation in. So if you bring the arms out with the palms up, I like to do about a 45-degree angle. You can either keep the knees bent or straighten them, whichever is the best challenge for you. I'm going to keep my knees bent. So from here, keeping the shoulder blades squeezed together and pressed into the mat, and the lower abdominals drawn in with the lower spine pressed into the mat, you're going to inhale the leg out to the side, and you choose how far out you go with control. And really use those lower abdominals to draw back to the center of the mat. So try and keep your knees stacked over your hips. What happens when your core is too weak is you'll probably bring your legs further to get close to you. So try to recorrect so they're out there for that challenge. And then you can come down anytime you need a rest if you feel your spine start to arch off the back, off the mat. So here you're going to inhale to the other side. And right now you can just be doing a lower range, that's okay. And then exhale back to center. So then inhale to the other side, keeping both shoulders on the mat. Exhale back to center. Inhale to the other side. Good. And then exhale back to center, keeping both shoulders on the mat. We'll do one more time each side. Good job. You can bring that back down for a rest. Relax everything. You can do a few little windshield wipers just to loosen up the low back if you need to, and the core. And then we're going to go into our dinner plate circles. So you're going to have one leg come up straight, the other one can stay bent. You can point the toe, and we're just going to draw a dinner plate circle with our, like the size of a dinner plate with our legs. So really keep the lower abdominals drawn in and the pelvic floor active. And try and slow and do these circles slow and controlled, just about the range of the hip joint. And then if you want, you can reverse the circles. You can do about 10 in each direction. So you should still be able to feel your pelvic floor muscles controlling the leg in this position. Good, and you can drop that down. Then we're going to bring the other leg up and try the other side. So you're going to do 10 in one direction. And then we'll do 10 in the other direction. Great, and then you can come down for rest. Next we'll roll on to our side. So in this position here, we're just going to work into our clam. So if you want, you can come up onto the knee and the elbow. So make sure the elbow is under your shoulder, and your shoulder stays away from your ear so you're not hiking it towards your ear. And then just have your knees in alignment with your hips and squeeze the butt cheek and try and keep the hips stacked on top of each other. And then from this position, you can just bring the knee up and down. So the toe doesn't totally have to be attached to the other toe. You can if you want. But we're just going to go for 10. And what I'd like is for you to not move your hip too far back with your leg. So you want to keep your hip forward, stacked on top of your other hip, and just use your knee going up and down for the movement. So this can be quite challenging, so if you're finding it too challenging, you can also go down and just do it in this position here. So once you've reached 10, we can do a quick side stretch. So if you bring your legs into a 90s position in the front and 90 position to the side, so it's like an L, you can reach your hip up off the ground and then do a nice little side arch for a side stretch. And then we're going to thread the needle as we come down. Exhale through, try and get your shoulder and your head onto the ground. And then back, we'll do one more on this side. And threading through. Good. So then you can switch and do the other side. I'll go here so you know what I'm doing. So just have your elbow under your shoulder, shoulder away from your ear. Kind of have your knee either in line with your hip or slightly in front. And then from here, you're just going to stack the hips and go into your clam. So we're going to go in for 10. Good. Really important to still keep your lower abdominals drawn in for that. Again, you're making an L shape in front of you and out to the side, 90-degree angles. Then you're going to push your hips up and reach up and over. And then you're going to exhale as you thread through. Try and place the head on the ground if you can. And we'll do that one more time. So we're reaching up and over. And then a nice thread through on the way down. Excellent. So coming into your all fours position, you can just do a quick cat-cow if you want, just to kind of realign the spine and get it feeling good. And then from this position here, we're going to go into hip circles. So you can kind of claw the mat and kind of push away from the mat so that your upper body's supported. And from here, you're going to take one leg and do circles with your knees. So try not to lean too much on the other side. Try and keep the hip bones pointed down. And you're going to go for 3 circles in one direction. And then you're going to do 3 circles in the other direction. Good job. And then as you come down, you're going to go up and down like a fire hydrant. The dog peeing on a fire hydrant. So you're going to do 10. So this is working your side glute muscle. And then we're going to straighten our leg out, have the toe touching the ground. You're just going to squeeze your butt cheek and lift your leg with your butt cheek and put it back down. So you're just going to do 10 here. Good job. So we'll go to the other side. If you're finding this hard on your knees, you can have a little towel or pillow down just to support your knees so they're not so sore. So again, you're going to push away from the mat, claw your hands in, and then you're going to be going up and down. Oh wait, sorry, circles first. So we've got 3 in one direction. And then we've got 3 in the other direction. Just make sure your hips are on top of your knees and that you're not tilting too much to one side. And then you're going to do your hydrants. So you got out to the side for 10. And keep pushing away from the mat, keep the belly button up. Good, and then you're going to straighten the leg out, have the toe touching the ground. You're squeezing your butt cheek to lift your leg about hip height. Try and keep both hips pointed downwards if you can. Good job. So we'll sit back into child's pose just to give us a quick rest. And then we'll move on to prone Supermans. So with this one, you're laying on your stomach. You can have a pillow under your hips if you're finding this too hard on your low back. That will give you a better position for your spine. But if not, you can have your arms up overhead and your legs out straight. And then you're just going to use your glute to lift the leg and just make sure both of your hip bones stay on the mat as you lift the leg. So it's not a very high lift, and it's just going back down. So you're first squeezing your butt cheek, and then you're lifting your leg, and then bringing it back down. Then try the other side where you squeeze your butt cheek, lift the leg, keep the belly button drawn up, and back down. So next time when you lift the other leg, have the opposite arm come up. Keep your gaze down at the mat, and then both come down, and then you're going to do the other side. So you're just alternating sides. And we'll go for 10 total. Really imagine lengthening so your leg and your arm are going long away from you. And really keep that belly button drawn up as you squeeze your butt. So you can go as slow as you need to remember all these cues, but you're going to aim for about 10 if you can. Really try and keep both hip bones on the ground. Good job. Next, keeping in this position on your stomach, we're going to have our arms by our side, face the palms towards you, and then rotate the palms away from you so that the thumbs are up to the ceiling. So this is pretty intense. Just rest your head on the mat, forehead. And then from here, you just want to try and keep the shoulder blades down away from your ears and draw them up together as if someone had string attached to both shoulder blades and they're tying it tighter between your shoulder blades. So in this position here, you can keep the head down if it's too intense for you, but you really want to focus on bringing the legs together, keeping the tops of the toes on the mat, squeezing the butt cheek, and then lifting that pelvic floor so the belly button's away from your body and maintain that contraction. And then you can just pulse the arms up and down, sort of like you're doing a reverse 100. So try and keep all these muscles on as you're pulsing the arms, and try and keep the shoulder blades down and back and drawn together. So you could do the same breathing technique as the 100, so in for 5 and out for 5. And I'll keep going for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So if you wanted to make that extra challenge, you could have your head off the mat just so that your heart's raised. But really keep your butt squeezed as you do that so you're supporting your back. And really try and maintain length in your spine as you're pulsing the arms. So that's a really good one to help improve your posture and things. Another great posture exercise is going to be legs out, arms out in a T position, and then keeping the feet together, toes on the ground, butt muscles engaged. You can just come out in a T position. Just make sure that your thumbs are up towards the ceiling. I'm just doing about 10 of those. Excellent job. So next, we're going to thread the needle stretch. So you'll start with your arm up, and then you're going to thread through for a bit of a rest. Then we'll do that one more time. So keep your gaze on your hand as you rotate up, and then you're just going to place the hand through as you exhale. Really important to keep the hips stacked on top of the knees, and try not to collapse in the standing arm. So keep pushing away from the mat as you are rotating upwards. Good job. So coming up into all fours, you're just going to hover the knees off the ground so you're in that plank position. And we're just going to hold it for 10 seconds. Just really keep the lower abdominals drawn up. And just have the knees slightly off the ground so they don't have to be very high. And you're going to try and hold that for 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8. Keep your gaze between your hands. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Coming down for rest. You can sit back towards your heels. Excellent job. Next, we're going to be on our side. And we're just going to be doing a bit of side glute work. So you're going to bring the knee in, and then you're going to flex the foot and push the heel away on a 45-degree angle and bring it back. So you're pushing behind you and really pushing through the heel as you bring the leg back on a 45. I like to have the bottom leg bent a bit just for a bit more support, and the arm in front of me. Some people like to just have their leg straight, so it's just whatever's easiest and most challenging for your body. And we're just going to go for 10 on each leg. So you'll start to feel a bit of a burn in that side glute. So it's a really important muscle to get strong. And again, just really maintaining that pelvic floor drawn up, just so you can challenge it in another plane of motion. Good. And then we'll switch and try the other side. So drawing the knee in and then pushing out on a 45-degree angle behind you through the heel. Just keeping that foot flexed if you can. The upper body is relaxed and resting on your head on your arm. And then you can just have the hand wherever in front of you or on your hip. And just really pushing through the ankle. My partner has decided to turn on the weed whacker, I think. So hopefully you can still hear me. Good job. So I think that's about 10. And then you can have a bit of a rest. You can kind of hit that area if it's sore. And then we're going to be doing some inner thigh work. So next you're going to bring your leg about hip height. You can use the balance of your front arm if you need to and bring your other leg up to meet it. and then you can bring both down at the same time. So just however high you lift the top leg is however much you're going to have to work with the bottom leg to bring it up. So choose your range. Everybody's going to be at a different range, at a different point in life. So just choose whichever range you need at this moment, and hopefully we can get it a bit stronger as we progress. And both down, and down, and down, and we'll do 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. Good. So next we'll go on to the other side, just with those inner thigh exercises. So top leg, bottom leg, and back down. And down. And down. And down. So we'll do 3 more on this side. 1, 2, and 3. Excellent job. And from here we're going to bring one knee into our chest. I'm going to start with my right knee. If you want to avoid the rib cage slightly, you can. And just bringing that knee as close as you can towards your chest and just breathing here for a couple breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Great, and from there you're going to bring your knee across your body over to the side so that you're sort of in a human twist. And then from there what you're going to do is try and bring the shoulder back down towards the ground and use your opposite hand to push the knee down towards the ground. If you're not quite flexible and your knee doesn't go all the way down and your shoulder doesn't go all the way down, that's okay. But what we really want to do is breathe here. And what you can also do is look the opposite way that your knee's going. And each time you exhale, just try and bring the knee closer to the ground. With the opposite arm, you can have it out straight, or I like to bend it slightly and then go up and down with my elbow straightening and then bending again. And I like to do 5 up and down movements, and this is really good for stretching out my chest and pec muscles. Pretty good if you're feeling quite sore there. Okay, you can inhale back to center. We're going to drop that knee down. We're going to bring the opposite knee into our chest now. And again, you can avoid the ribcage slightly and pull upwards towards the chest. You can keep the other leg straight, no bend in the knee, and try and flex the toe towards you. And you can squeeze the butt cheek of the knee bent in, and that will kind of help get an extra stretch. You can keep this chin slightly tucked down, and that will help elongate the back of your neck. And this is a really nice position for your spine. So you can keep that belly button drawn in, and you're really squeezing the knee into the chest. And then from here, you're going to relax, and we're going to exhale and bring our knee over and looking the opposite way. And then again, we're going to start up and down with our arm just to get a nice chest stretch as well. So you can do that 4 or 5 times and just breathing throughout. And when you're done that, you can come back to center. Bend both knees up. Have the nice neutral spine on the mat. And you can have your feet slightly wider than hip width apart. And we're just going to rock the legs side to side. So some people like to keep the knees together and go side to side. I like to keep them apart and sort of use your knees like windshield wipers. Just breathing here. So this is really nice for the low back and the hips. Just getting some internal and external rotation in the hips. Excellent. And then we're going to bring both knees in. And then you're going to come into circles with the knees. So we're going to do 3 circles in one direction, and then 3 circles in the opposite direction. Excellent. And then you can straighten your legs out. We're just going to do a nice crunch up to, actually no, we'll roll up to sitting. So if you can grab your hands behind your thighs, and you're going to tuck the chin in. And you're just going to roll like a ball. You can come up to standing. And then up to sitting. And then from here we're going to have our legs out straight. And you're just going to keep your chest forward and look towards the ceiling, the wall in front of you. And we're going to lean forward towards our toes as close as we can. If you can't quite reach, that's okay. You can grab onto your shins or wherever you are. And then from here what you're going to do is you're going to walk your hips backwards. So one leg goes back, the next leg goes back, and you just keep walking that way. And after about 4, you can stop. Or just hold that there for a second. And then from here, what you're going to do is you're going to bring one knee in. You can have the other ones sticking outwards. From here, you're going to tuck the chin down, make your chest concave, and then start from your tailbone. Really engage your core and try and roll down and catch yourself down at the bottom. So keep the chest and shoulders off the ground as high as you can. And you're going to exhale and bring the knee in. So keep alternating knees. So really brace that core. Keep the belly button drawn in. Keep that boat shaped in your body. And we're just going to keep going, alternating in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. So you can place the knees back down and slowly roll down so that your head's on the ground. So that chin tuck is really important to keep the neck safe in this position. So then from there, you're going to bring your knees into tabletop position, so they're a 90-degree angle. Try and keep your knees over top of your hips. If they're too far this way, it's a little bit of cheating. So try and keep your knees over top of your hips. Then from there, draw your belly button in and use your core to flatten your spine onto the mat. And from here, you're going to place your hands onto your thighs, and then you're going to have the same side leg and arm go out, and then bring them back. So you'll notice when you come out, try and keep pushing down with your hand into the opposite knee, and you'll feel that engage your core. I like to exhale each time I come out, and inhale back. So we're going to go for 10 of these. I think that was about 4. Two more. Good job. And then from here, you can have a rest if you need to, but try and keep up in that tabletop position. Then from here, you're going to have your arms out to the side in a cross position, and you're just going to inhale your leg out, your legs out, and then exhale back to center. So only go as far down as you can, but with keeping both shoulder blades on the mat. So try not to lift the shoulder blade off the mat. And I like to exhale back to center. So really using those obliques and lower abdominals. Try and flatten your spine back onto the mat as you come back to center. Good, and we'll stop in the middle, and you can come down, and we'll roll up to sitting again, and this time we're going to come on to all fours. So in all fours position, your knees are underneath your hips. They're about 2 fist distance apart. You're going to have your wrists under your shoulders, and you can kind of claw the ground with your fingers, and that kind of helps your wrists feel a bit better. If this is too much for your wrists, you can also just come up onto your fists. I like to try and strengthen my wrists a bit by clawing the mat. So from here, your belly button's going to draw up towards your spine, and you're just going to look towards your chest, towards your hips as you draw the center of the spine up towards the ceiling. So the cat stretch. And then you're going to come back down to center, and if you want to reverse, your tailbone comes towards your shoulders and you look upwards. Then we're going to inhale back up to the cat, pushing away from the mat, and then exhale back to center, and if it's comfortable in your body, you can do a slight reverse. Then coming back to center, we're going to bring our hands away from us, so walk them away, drop to the elbows. You're going to inhale, tuck the chin in, raise the chest slightly, and then sit back towards your heels as you exhale. And then from there, you're going to inhale by lifting the elbows off the mat and coming back to start. So we'll try that again, dropping to the elbows, tuck the chin in, lift the chest slightly, and then exhale back. And then off the elbows back to start. We'll do that one more time. So dropping to the elbows, tuck the chin in, lift the chest, and then sitting back towards the heels. And you can take a few breaths here, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And when you're ready, you can slowly make yourself back up to standing. And you're done. Thanks for joining.